Hello and good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world, and a huge welcome to today's Postgrad Insight session, which is brought to you by Cardiff University. Now, before we get going, we're just going to talk about what today's session will entail. For those that are interested in registering for a £2,000 bursary, which Postgrad Solutions offer, you can find out more information towards the end of the session. So please hang fire with any questions around that. It will be made clear to you. Reminder that this is a live session. If you have any questions, any concerns, any issues at all, please email myself, Gareth, at postgradsolutions.com, or put it in the chat or Q&A facility bottom or top of your screen, depending on what you're using. Now, there will be a live Q&A with the recruitment expert that we're going to be talking to, in addition to some students which Cardiff University have put up for this webinar. So it'd be good to have an engaging conversation with any students that have more questions. You can put that in the Q&A facility at the bottom of your screen also. But for now, I'd like to hand you over to Dai Evans. He'll be taking you through the next 30 minutes. If you have any questions, any issues, let me know. But Dai, over to you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Gareth. Yeah, thank you ever so much for joining us today. So I'm also joined with a couple of our wonderful students who may be able to pitch in at the end of the presentation. So I'll just share my screen and give you a brief overview of the university and what we have to offer. So welcome. Welcome from not so sunny Cardiff today. But what I'm going to go through today is a brief overview of the university, some of our different courses, schools and colleges, a little bit about how you can enhance your degree with us, so a few extra things that we have to offer, a little bit on fees and funding and finance. And then I'll also give you an overview of the city, because it is a wonderful place, the ideal place to be a student. So this is the university. The image you're seeing now is that of our main building. That's the very center of our Cateys Park campus. That's main building. And all of the university is pretty much, for the most part, built in and around this wonderful building. And you'll see lots of these very attractive kind of Edwardian buildings all around campus. So it really feels like an important place to be a student. So we've been around for a long time. So we're established in the late 19th century in 1883. So very much a traditional university with a very strong global footprint. We're one of the largest in the UK and certainly the largest university in Wales. We have a range of different subjects, everything from archaeology to accounting, all the way through to zoology. There's not a lot of courses that we don't offer across our 24 academic schools. So hundreds and hundreds of courses for you to pick from. We are, of course, a member of the Russell Group. For those of you that don't know the Russell Group, it's a group of 24 research-intensive universities that collaborate in lots of different areas of academic research. Some of the names you'll know very well, like your Oxford and Cambridges, and your big universities like Manchester, Birmingham, and also Cardiff is one of those as well. Our ranking is excellent. So according to QS, we're currently 154th in the world, with many of our programs ranked right up there in the top 5 or top 10 within the UK. And of course, being such a well-known, well-established, well-ranked university, we do very well in terms of employability. So we're currently ranked number 12 in the UK, and there's well over 160, 170 universities in the UK for graduate employability. So one of the main reasons that you go to university is obviously to start your academic career and then your professional career and to get a job. So it's a great place to do that. On the right-hand side, there's some more images of our wonderful campus there as well. So, of course, we're very international. So we have nearly 8,000 students from well over 130 different countries. So if you study with us, you will be mixing and studying and socializing and hanging out with or in clubs with students from all over the world. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to establish friendships, networks, and professional allegiances with people all over the world. In my experience, when I was at university, I made so many friends from all over the world, which led to lots of really interesting opportunities, both for work and travel as well. We partner with universities from all over the world. We've got one of the largest offerings of short-term and longer-term student exchange. So if you're really interested in learning about another country or another culture, there are opportunities for you to go there either for a short period or a bit longer. And we have a lot of strategic partnerships and collaborate with universities all over the world in terms of research as well. And I'll go on to explain a little bit about that. So yes, very international. On the screen there, I won't read them out, but you can see some of the glowing testimonials that some of our students have about studying at Cardiff and how international it is. So yeah, I just really want to stress that it's a very welcoming university and a very welcoming city. We're very used to having students from all over the world come and study with us. So research. So research really underpins you know, what the university is all about. We are a university that is really established and aims to make the world a more advanced and essentially a better place. So 90% of our research has been confirmed as world leading, according to the Research Excellence Framework. We're currently 11th in the UK for research impact. So all of those things that we do in our schools, colleges, labs, workshops, they really have an impact that affects both the local community and wider world. We do actually have a couple of Nobel Prize winners. So that's Sir Martin Evans and Robert Huber in the areas of things like medicine, medicinal chemistry, and stem cell research, things like that. We collaborate with lots of partners in industry and also in research and also with local government. And we have a specific research centre called Spark, where all of these things come together, which is really, really interesting. Yeah, so, right, I'll go through each one of the colleges specifically here. So the first one is the AHSS, the College of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences. These are all the list of the subjects that we offer. Obviously, our business school is a very large school, very well ranked as well, and lots of different courses. One of our students here today is actually studying in the business school, and perhaps she can speak a little bit about that later. And some very well-established schools there that are ranked very highly in their respective areas. Just to name a few: geography and planning, journalism, media and culture, law and politics, modern languages, social sciences, all very well regarded and very well known, both in the UK and globally. Then we have the College of Biomedical and Life Sciences. So here we have obviously a range of different subjects. One of our, I'll go on to talk about the campuses later, but we do have one of the largest teaching hospitals in the UK up at the Heath. Our biosciences program is regularly ranked within the top 50 in the world, and obviously very much helped and underpinned by our Nobel Prize winner. In fact, the building itself is named after him, Sir Martin Evans. Our School of Medicine, Optometry, Pharmacy, Psychology, all incredibly highly ranked. So Cardiff is very, very strong in the areas of biomedical and life sciences, and also world-leading experts in anything to do with the brain, which brings me on to the image you can see behind there, which is Kubrick, so Cardiff University Brain Research Imaging Centre. It's one of the most state-of-the-art and largest brain research imaging facilities in the whole of the country. So we're very proud of that. Then we have the College of PSE, Physical Sciences and Engineering. So again, 7 schools here: architecture, chemistry, computer science, earth and environmental sciences, engineering, maths, physics, and astronomy. All wonderful schools. The School of Architecture is a fantastic building, and the Butte building, again, very, very highly ranked. Computer science and maths have just gone into a beautiful new facility called Abacus, which is a carbon neutral building, beautiful, glass fronted, with really state-of-the-art facilities and very powerful machines. The School of Engineering, I absolutely love. I get lost in it every time I go in. It's a very large building. There's a plane fuselage in the very center of it. And we normally do very well in the kind of student Formula One racing championships, and we've won that a few times as well. Some really impressive schools with a range of different degrees, both at undergraduate and postgraduate levels. So the campus itself. So there's actually 2 campuses at Cardiff University. The majority of schools are based on the Cathays Park campus, which is the one you can see now. It's very much in the city centre. So we're a really unusual university, because universities are usually either campus universities, where they have a defined campus, or they're city universities, where they have buildings sort of peppered around a city environment. We're very lucky because we're in a city centre, but we very much have a defined campus. Most of the university buildings are all alongside each other and grouped around this beautiful park in the centre that you can see. And it's right next to City Hall, and only a 5 or 10 minute walk or a 2-minute bike ride right to the city centre. Most of our libraries are based in and around here. So it's a really, really well-placed, well-designed university footprint. So very safe, very green, very clean, and very convenient. Then the other campus we have is the Heath Park. This is very much based in medical and allied medical or healthcare programs, with it being a teaching hospital. Again, it's not very far away, 10-15 minutes away from the Cathays Park campus. Next to lots of parklands. There's some beautiful parks there, like Roath Park and the lake there. And they have all the facilities that you can possibly want. There also, we have a range of different accommodation. We have 17 different accommodation campuses, again, dotted throughout the city. So whatever your needs, whatever you're looking for in terms of accommodation, we'll be able to cover that for you. So facilities. So there's just a few images here that I'd just like to point out. So on the left there, you can see our brain research imaging facilities. For any journalism, media, or culture students there, you can see one of the kind of newsrooms and facilities that they have there. In fact, the school itself, journalism, is right next to the BBC. So our students are very well placed to be able to mingle with some of, real life journalism, hard-hitting journalists in the fields of politics, economics, sports, business, fashion, whatever it is. They're all based in and around the centre of Cardiff and next to our school there. And then you've got some of the images from the School of Optometry on the bottom. The bottom right there is our Bloomberg trading suite in the business school, where you can go in and trade in terms of like a simulation, stocks and shares in real time based on real information. So it's a really, really interesting facility. And then you can see on the top right there some of our medical students practicing on some of the dolls and dummies that we have as part of the program. So in terms of enhancing your degree, many of you may be postgraduate students. There may be a couple of you undergraduates here. That some of the programs offer years in industry, year abroad, or shorter placements and professional placement years, different types of work experience, professional training year, and internships. Each course is different, however. There are more opportunities to do these for undergraduate students, but there are a handful of programs in terms of business and computer science and a few other subjects that offer these options as well. And of course, being the university that we are, placing employment at the center of everything we do invite industry and professionals and companies into campus all throughout the year, whether that be to get involved in some of your coursework, and students undertake live briefs with real companies, or sometimes they just come in to try and talk to you about potentially going to work at their companies after you finish. And we have a dedicated team based in the Centre for Student Life, right in the heart of the university, who can guide you through that and introduce you to these types of companies and industries and organizations. Right, the Students' Union. Okay, our Students' Union is amazing. So the Students' Union at Cardiff, if you don't know what the Students' Union is, it's basically the beating heart of most universities. It's run by students for students, and it's where you go for everything to do with student life. So any kind of events or parties or club nights or gigs, services, your clubs and activities will be based in there as well. They've got lots of shops, restaurants, they've got barbers, reprographics, a supermarket. It's really like a city in its own right, and it's just based for our based in the center of campus for our students. And we're ranked really highly for our Students' Union, so it's currently ranked second in the UK. So that just shows how much time and effort and money we spend on our students to make sure that they have a really, really good time. And obviously they've got a branch as well up at the Heath Park campus there. But anything to do with student life, this is the place to go. They even have different types of study areas. The one that really stands out is the lounge, where you can go and hang out with your friends or your course mates. They have exercise bikes that you can actually study on. They have kind of swing chairs, little booths, a gaming room, table tennis, pool. So it's really a more relaxed study environment rather than studying in perhaps the library or one of your schools. Loads of clubs and societies to choose from as well. There really are a massive range of different options to choose from, whether those be clubs and societies that are related to your program, for example, the Law Society or the Medic Society or the Architect Society, or whether you just want to do something for fun. We have the Baking Society, the Blockchain Society, we have the Taylor Swift Society. So lots of different things that allows you to mix and match with students from not just that have an interest in the same subject, but they may be from different countries. And what's interesting is that it's good for networking because they'll be at different levels. You may be with students who are undergraduates or postgrad or PhD students. We also offer a range of different clubs for elite sports as well, because we do very well in the Bucks competition, the sports competition with universities. And in fact, Wednesday afternoons are completely set aside for clubs and societies. So that's when most of the clubs and societies will get involved in everything that they enjoy doing. So these are just some of the examples of the sports clubs that we have. Whatever you're interested in, we'll be able to offer it, because obviously we have a huge range. And if it's not, we also allow students the opportunity to set up their own clubs as well. But some of the larger ones would obviously be things like the athletics club, the rugby club, football club, things like that, with lots of different members, lots of different teams. And you don't have to be an expert or a professional. They've got different levels and different training sessions and different competitions, whether you want to try something for the first time or you're as strong as having represented your own country in a specific sport. So lots of options. We have a dedicated team for international student support. So whether that be related to your program, if you need some help, perhaps understanding kind of referencing or writing essays or doing presentations, whether it's something to do with your English language support, whether you feel like you need a little bit of help with that. We have a dedicated team there on hand to give you personalized and bespoke support with whatever you need. When you arrive as well, we also offer an airport coach collection. So you do need to sign up for it, but it is there, and it is an option, a free option for you to travel to the university. So we'll pick you up on a number of specific dates that we'll stipulate. And provided you arrive on those dates, we'll be able to take you from door to door, basically from the airport, usually Heathrow, down to the Centre for Student Life, and then we'll ferry you off to your respective accommodation once you've signed in. It's a very comprehensive induction as well. So you usually arrive before what we call Freshers Week. So, and you'll have a full induction by your academic school. So they'll explain everything about the course, the program, the facilities. Then we have a big welcome on campus all week in terms of Freshers Week. So that's where you get to find out about all the wonderful facilities and clubs and activities. And we'll help you set up a bank account, explain what you need to do in terms of signing up for a doctor. So all of that information is provided to you in a personalized way. But we also have an international student support center that can offer you all of the advice related to visa and immigrations, employability, your finances, and just settling in general. You can go to them anytime and ask any questions. There are no silly questions. So we do offer a range of different scholarships at the university for excellent students, both at the undergraduate and postgraduate level. What I would suggest is you to visit the scholarship section of our website to see whether any of these scholarships apply specifically to you. There are many terms and conditions related to a number of them, and not all of them apply to all courses. So it would be worth taking the time and reading through the information to see whether any of these apply to you. The most common ones are our Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship for postgraduate students, which range between £3,500 to £10,000. And then we have a number of country-specific scholarships and some excellent scholarships for undergraduate students as well. And the list is there. So we do offer a range of, in fact, I was talking to a scholarship winner this morning who's just designed he's in the School of Earth and Ocean Sciences, designed a project that's related to climate change, and it's been given a lot of funding, and we're very proud to see him do very well in that. So it is worth having a look, because these scholarships can really set you up, and they're very prestigious as well. So it's a good thing to put on your CV if you're able to be awarded one of these scholarships. So Cardiff is a really comfortable place to be a student. Not only is it a wonderful university, it's very green, it's very clean, but it is one of the most affordable student cities in the UK. So every year, one of the large banks in the UK, NatWest, they do a student survey that finds out, it's called the Student Living Index, I think. And they look at things like how much accommodation costs, shopping, travel, all of that, all of those costs that can be incurred as students in the UK. And we generally come up on top of that, usually 1, 2, or 3 in the UK, currently second. So not only are you in a Europe's youngest capital city, a really vibrant city to live in, it's one of the most affordable student cities. So just to give you an example, accommodation could be half or even less than some of the larger cities in the UK in terms of costs. It's very compact as well, and it's very flat, so it's really easy to get around. Most places between your accommodation and schools are just a walk. You don't need to take the bus or anything like that. So it's very compact. We also have the OVO bikes. So you pay, I think, £25 a year, which gives you access then to a bike that you can use every day to get around the city. And of course, being a big city that often holds mega events, we've got lots of stadiums, events places, hotels, restaurants, bars. So there's lots of opportunities to find part-time work as well. And we have a team at the university, so it's the university's job shop, that can help you find work while you're studying with us, whether that be on campus or or out in the city. There's lots of options there for you. And you can work up to 20 hours during term time a week, and as long as you want in the holidays, which is great. So, right, so the last sort of 5-10 minutes then, I just want to go through and explain to you about the city, because Cardiff is a really special city. I've lived all over the world. I've been very lucky through my university career and jobs to have lived I've lived in Wales, I've lived in England, I've lived in Paris, I lived in Japan for 12 years. I've done short stints in Australia and the US. And for me, out of all the places that I've lived, Cardiff is the Goldilocks city. It has it all. It's just right. That's how I would explain it. Perhaps I can explain a bit more. It's really international. So it's a port city, and it's been a big city in Wales for a long time. So we're very used to welcoming people from all over the world. So it's not uncommon for you to hear all sorts of languages spoken throughout the city. There's lots of different religions, cultures, nationalities, all represented here. And that's really highlighted by the amount of wonderful international restaurants that we have. So just on my doorstep, you've got cuisine from all over the world, which is really great. And we really celebrate this, and regularly, particularly throughout the summer, you'll see lots of food festivals, both in Cardiff city centre and down in the Bay, that really highlight and show off all of these different wonderful restaurants. It's not too big. So we're all in all, the wider city area is probably encompassing about 500,000 people. So it is safe, it's green, it's clean. It's very much student focused as well, because there are 3 universities in the city. So you've got Cardiff University, USW, Cardiff Metropolitan University. You've also got the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama, and lots of other different further education colleges as well. It's a really safe city. And like I said before, even though it's a capital city, it's one of the most affordable cities in the UK. It can be a really, really lively, thriving city. So another reason why it's quite unusual is that quite close to the university and right in the city centre, next to the Cardiff Central train station, we have a massive international stadium that holds up to nearly 80,000 people, which is very unusual. So when we hold mega events, things like the UEFA Cup final, we've had the FA Cup final, we have World Championship heavyweight boxing matches, rugby, cricket, football. We've had Olympic Games in there as well. We have the half marathon. Whenever we have anything like that, the population of the city explodes. So it can really feel like a massive city. It's really strong for music as well. That's one of the things I really love about the city. There are venues all throughout the city, from very small ones to very large ones that will be held in the stadium. And even in the last year, we've had Beyonce, Ed Sheeran, Harry Styles, Coldplay. Next year, we've got Taylor Swift and Pink and the Foo Fighters all coming. I'm going to see my favorite band, the Smashing Pumpkins, as well, which I'm very happy about. And it's a really great city for the arts. So we've got lots of art centres where you can watch plays, musicals, comedies, theatre of all sorts. So there's a lot there for you to do if you are interested in the arts. It's also great for shopping. And you may be aware that the weather in the UK is not great, but what's great about Cardiff is that most of our shopping areas are covered. So people come from all over the UK to enjoy things like sports events, music events. They stay, they shop. That's why we've got wonderful shops, restaurants, bars. So it's a really exciting place. If you ask anyone in the UK what they think of Cardiff, they always say, "Oh, it's a great place, great for a weekend, great place to visit." So that it's really lovely, and it's also steeped in tradition as well. So besides it being Europe's youngest capital city, we have a beautiful castle and lots of beautiful buildings throughout the city, like at the university. So there you can see on the left, there's the castle. So that is actually, that ball is not destroying the wall. That was just there as a setup for the Rugby World Cup. But we've got a big cricket stadium at Sophia Gardens. Rugby here is basically a religion. So if you don't know much about rugby, if you come to Cardiff University, you will find out. And when we do have big rugby matches in the city, it's a really, really exciting event. We've got an ice hockey stadium and an ice rink. We have whitewater rafting course as well. And we're surrounded by the sea. So there's lots of opportunity to get involved in kind of water sports and going out on a boat and trying something new. So these are just some more images about the city. There's one of our theatres in the middle, the new theatre. That's right next to the university. The castle, that's one of the events and one of the festivals in the summer on the left. And you can see there a picture of the Rolling Stones in the stadium. And in the top right, that just shows you one of the beautiful shopping arcades. So they're kind of lovely Victorian shopping arcades with glass roofs, and it almost feels a little bit Harry Potterish when you're going around the arcades, because they wind around each other and they really act as like the veins of the city, connecting everything. Like I said, it's really green. We've got over 300 parks and gardens. So even though you're in a big city, you only need to walk for 5 minutes and you find yourself in a really serene, green environment. We have the River Taff that runs through Butte Park right next to the university. So quite often in the summer, students will take their sandwiches and go and have a picnic and play frisbee or sports in the parks. It's just a really nice place to relax and get out into nature very, very easily. And surrounding the city as well, not very far away, you have some beautiful national parks like the Brecon Beacons, you have the Gower, Pembrokeshire National Park, and so lots of opportunities to hike, to climb mountains, to go waterfall hunting, and look at or enjoy some of the lovely beaches that we have here in South Wales as well. Right, so moving forward then, in terms of applications, I'll just mention quickly, because I know Gareth wanted me to mention about entry requirements. So entry requirements will vary from course to course. So you'll need to check our website. If it's a postgraduate program, you'd ordinarily want to be achieving the equivalent of what we call a 2-1 or a 2-2. Now that varies from country to country, but there is a drop-down menu on each course that will explain very clearly what you need to be able to come to us. In terms of English language requirements, generally we're looking at, so it's the C1 level, CEFR C1 level, which is advanced. So in IELTS, just to give you an idea, that would be 6.5 overall, with nothing less than 5.5 in each of the 4 sub-skills of reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Some of the courses require slightly higher entry requirements, both in terms of academics and English language. But so please check our website, because some courses do require a slightly more advanced level, things like medicine, law, some of the journalism courses. Yeah, you just need to check that on the website. But we're a one-stop shop here in the international office, so you can contact us at any time regarding anything to do with your application, visas, immigration, arriving here, traveling to us, your accommodation. whether you're eligible for any scholarships at all, any type of support, please do reach out. Don't be shy. There are no silly questions, and we'd love to hear from you. And the email address is international@cardiff.ac.uk. So nice and easy to remember. international@cardiff.ac.uk. We also have a really good function on our website for you to be able to chat to our students. So you can go on and you'll see it straight away in the front of the page, chat to our students. You click on that, just sign up, and you'll be able to chat to any of our students. It might take them a little bit of time to get back to you, but they will get back to you. All right, so those are the contact details again. So what we'll do now is just to give you a little bit of time to note these contact details down if you need to. What we'll do is we'll open the session up to any questions. I can see that there are a few bits and bobs in there, and hopefully our students, so Shunying and Ludvika, can help us answer some of these wonderful questions.
David, Dai, thanks for your time. Appreciate that. Really great session. So many times we hear people and recruitment experts come on and talk about the city and talk about where they're going to study and where they're going to live and forget about the social aspect. And I think it's so important that you spoke about the societies that are available within the city. You know, it's a capital city, major city, the nightlife, what it's like to live there. I want to talk about, to begin with, and if you don't mind, I kind of want to coordinate where the questions go to, and I'll let you kind of guide to which student you feel is best, because some of the students have rightly pointed out and gone, well, I've looked at Cambridge and it's more expensive than Cambridge. I would argue it's not a capital city. It's not one of the major cities in the European culture. But with that comes a fantastic opportunity to live your life. You know, you don't get that experience in other major cities around Europe, never mind in the UK. So if you want to guide to whichever student you feel is best to what it's like to live in Cardiff, what's made it so great, and what they would recommend to students that are a bit worried about perhaps it being a bit more expensive than other cities, but they will get value for that.
Yeah, I don't know. Ludvika, Shunying, would you be able to give some of your experience about what it's like and living costs in the city?
Yeah, I can. So I have some friends, for example, living in Bristol, and so actually they're not living in Bristol, they're living in Cardiff, but they're working in Bristol because they cannot afford living in Bristol because it's twice more expensive. So yeah, it's not a single case. I know many people who are in Cardiff just because it's cheaper. And in terms of myself, I'm also a residence life assistant, and as a residence life assistant, I don't pay for accommodation. So I help students, I support them, and the university gives me a free accommodation. So if someone if someone wants to do it as well, I can maybe put the email address to the chat, so you can email the team as well and ask if they have some spaces for the next year, or if you're planning to do a PhD, you can apply for the second year then. But I think Cardiff has a great opportunity in terms of like finances, especially with like funding options as well, and even the groceries are cheaper in Cardiff than in other cities. At least that's what I noticed.
Yeah.
Can I ask how do you strike a nice work social life balance? Because it can be difficult, you know, especially your maths degree. It's full on. There's a lot to do, cramming in 1 year. How do you strike that nice balance? And what is there to do within the city to help take your mind off what can be a stressful time?
Well, within a city, I can just go shopping. I think that really relieves my stress a bit. But I can also just go for a walk or go cycle. There are many cycle routes around Cardiff. There are many parks, and I can just go for a walk. There are also many study spaces in Cardiff University itself. So there are libraries that are open 24/7. So for example, there's a big one, ASSL, and you can just show your student ID card and study at the night. There are some space, like very modern spaces where you can study as well. You can even get some private rooms if you want to just study alone and just relax there. But the university even offers some well-being drop-ins. So if you feel like it's too much for you, you can just go to a drop-in and talk about the issues that you the issues that you have, and they can the professionals can talk to you and just try to help you solve those issues. But I feel very supported for Cardiff. I really do feel like Cardiff cares about its students. There are so many support services. There's well-being service, there's financial service, there's disability service, pastoral help. Everything is there for you to support you.
Olivia, do you mind me asking, are you an international student? Have you come from another country?
Yes, I am from Lithuania.
Okay, and how did you find the whole process of coming to the UK, settling down? Did you find in particular in Cardiff there was a strong international contingent of students there to help you get through that?
Oh, definitely, yes. Everyone is so friendly there. It's very easy to make friends. I also feel like Welsh people are friendlier than than English people.
Hang on, hang on.
So yeah, that's a big plus for me. But yeah, it was quite easy. Maybe the first few days were a bit more difficult because I had to, well, of course, it was a new environment. I had to get used to everything. But the flatmates that I was living with, they just decided, oh, let's go maybe to have a walk. We can show you where the things are, because they were from Cardiff. So yeah, everything is very welcoming.
Dai, can I come back to you at this point?
Yeah.
Some of the questions that we've had is around funding and scholarships, and plenty of people ask, can I get funding? Can I get scholarships? Can I get a free degree? Whatnot? How do students go about finding out what opportunities there are? And I know you touched upon it already in your presentation, but there's scholarships such as Chevening, Marshall, and Commonwealth, and others as well that I've not mentioned. But how do students go about applying for those? And do you partner with those institutions?
Yes, we do. Yeah, so we do partner with all of those, and I would always guide students to the scholarship section of our website, which outlines each process in detail and all of the opportunities that they'd be able to find. So it's a one-stop shop, really, where they can find all of the information in one place. But yeah, obviously, being a large Russell Group university, we do partner with quite a few different institutions as well.
And a question that I would have for you personally is, being a Russell Group university, a well-esteemed institution, somewhere everybody would love to study, what would you advise students and recommend them to put on their personal statements, and when they're applying it, and what to put on those kind of resumes? Because it is a very competitive place at the moment, university placements, especially at Russell Group unis. What are you looking for, and what can students put to make them stand out to others?
Yeah, well, it will vary depending on whether it's an undergraduate application or a postgraduate application. I believe most people here are looking at postgraduate studies, in which, of course, the personal statement can be very, very important there. The first thing that students need to do is look very carefully at the course finder page of our website. The reason I say that is that it outlines all of the modules and the module descriptors, so students really understand what they're going to be studying, how they're going to be studying it, how they're going to be assessed, what the different opportunities are. It's quite often students may use kind of a generic personal statement that they may fire off to a number of universities. But for some of our courses, we ask for very specific personal statements. In some cases, we even provide students with questions that they have to answer for us. So really, that would be your first port of call. It's really making sure that you understand the program and how it matches with your kind of career or academic career goals, essentially. So make sure it is very much relevant to the course you're going to study. You don't need to fill it up with lots of kind of academic references or citations or It's just, in fact, you'll just be wasting the word count in a lot of cases. But it's really just making sure that we know about you and what your interests and your goals are, and that you know about us and what the university has to offer.
Excellent. Shanying, if I can bring you in at this point, I believe you're studying the MA in journalism. It'd be good to hear from you in terms of the class kind of structure and the class size, because quite often people will hear big institutions, big universities, and think to themselves, huge classes, you're just a number. I know that's not the case. Can you just talk to me about your classes and how they are and how you really benefit from perhaps one-to-one learning?
Yeah, to be honest, I think first when I joined the class, I think it's challenging, but it's also rewarding because we have so many works and programs to do. So I sometimes I feel so tired because we have to write different articles every week, because we have different pathways for the international journalism. We have 3 different pathways: a broadcast and multimedia, and also documentary. And everyone, when you join the different pathway, you have to do different you have to do different assignments. So sometimes you feel so busy, but I think it's rewarding because you do learn a lot of things during this experience.
And Shirley, can I ask, did you study your undergrad degree at Cardiff as well?
Undergraduate, no, I spent 10 weeks to study the offline pre-sessional language course, because our major need 7 score IELTS test in total, but I only got 6.5, so I joined the 10-week offline English language course in the last year. It's very beneficial for my academic study, because it's very comprehensive, because you can learn academic speaking, listening, and reading. It's very good, I think.
And what made you choose Cardiff? Was it the course or was it the city?
It's about the project, because when I in my undergraduate, I learned so many theoretical things. So for my postgraduate study, I want to learn more about practical. So, but I know Cardiff, for my major, like international journalism, we have so practical things. You have to contact interviewees for yourself. It's very challenging because it's a new city for you, and for international students, I think it's also challenging because you don't know anyone, but you have to contact people by email or just on street to do some vox pop. I think it's very practical, and you can really learn some practical skills in this experience.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Dai, if I could come back to you at this point, again, a few more questions and then we'll wrap things up. So I want to talk about employability, opportunities in your career. Students studying at Cardiff coming to their MA. It might be that they're studying somewhere else. They come to Cardiff as an international student. And then they go, right, what do I want to do after that? What career opportunities have you got available? What businesses do you work with, perhaps on a national and global scale, that you can attach yourself or a student can attach themselves to?
My goodness, there's almost too many to mention. I mean, it's really interesting when students arrive to us, both in the Centre for Student Life and in each of the respective schools. During term time, it's on most days of the week, you will see the big companies in there, like, KPMG, PricewaterhouseCooper, just to name a few. And in the School of Engineering, you'll have Airbus and Boeing and what have you, coming in, just setting up a stand, talking to our students. In fact, we have a dedicated, it's called Student Futures. So it's on the 2nd floor of our Centre for Student Life. It's a beautiful facility where students can come in at any point of their academic career, whether it's in the 1st year, 2nd year, the 3rd year, or final year, if they're doing a 4 or 5 year program. And also it's embedded within each one of our schools that employability is one of the main reasons why students come to study. So they will have that access. Lots of the courses also invite companies, organizations, NGOs, NPOs into the classroom as well. And they'll conduct projects or live briefs or even field work where they'll go to these companies and organizations or labs to be able to carry out some of their academic work. So it's very much intertwined into everything. That's why our ranking is so high for employability, because it's embedded. That it's not just an academic program. Everything has a real life impact. And I think that trickles down from the fact that we're 11th in the UK for research impact as well. So everything has a real life focus to it as well. It's not just here to theorize. It's here to actually put actions, so to put words into action. Yeah.
Fantastic. And there will be people asking about different modes of study, full-time, part-time, online learning. We haven't really touched upon online learning yet. Is it an opportunity available for students to international in particular? Because, you know, there is that gap, the obvious gap in terms of the Atlantic Ocean if we're American or whatnot. So
at present, we don't offer a really comprehensive range of online programs. There are some blended programs and some distance programs for very specific programs in things like medicine and dentistry and things like that, where the programs are designed for practicing professionals. But at the moment, but it's certainly something that the university is looking at and considering, because obviously the world is becoming ever interconnected and lots of things can be delivered online. Speaking to lots of students, though, they do really love to have the experience of living in the UK and living in a lovely city like Cardiff. Just to bring you back to the point about Cambridge, I did a little bit of cheeky research while we were talking. Cambridge is in fact not cheaper than Cardiff. So it's on average 13% cheaper than London, whereas Cardiff is 41% cheaper as a comparator. So yeah. So I was pleased to see that. Yeah.
Look, everyone have their agendas. What I want to talk about, there's two more points. And I think it's important we touch upon it. First of all, we at postgrad.com have noticed a trend post-COVID, post-pandemic, of the demographic of student, the type of student that is now applying for a postgraduate course. It seems to have gone more to a more mature age. You know, more mature students are now applying, which is great because it shows it's never too late to go on and enhance your studies. Are you seeing that? You also, do you see a stronger amount of what you would call older people now applying rather than your stereotypical 25-year-olds?
I can't say I'm seeing that to any kind of dramatic level of change. However, I think students do realize the value of gaining some sort of real life experience and work experience. Also, it allows students to build up their finances to be able to study a program. But we have always had a really good range in terms of age groups for postgraduate level studies. And there really is an advantage to that, because you will be mixing and matching with students in your classroom with varying levels of experiences and varying experiences, some at the beginning of their careers, some mid-career, some more advanced. So it's a great way to learn from not only our wonderful lecturers and professors, but also the other students in the classroom. But yeah, you're right. It's certainly, we do see a range of students of different and varying age groups.
Yeah, I just think it's important to point out, because there might be a lot of people watching going, too old for this, or too far.
No, there's no age.
Ever. Yeah.
We have students. We've recently had a student doing a master's program in his 80s, just to give you an example. So yeah.
If you're 80, as much as I'd love to encourage you to carry on your studies, put your feet up. You've earned the right to put your feet up. Just finally, Dai, your intake dates. I know they'll vary by course potentially. Any students watching this, what would you advise to them? Are you looking at January, September intake, or is that typically
So
what works
it's
for you
the
guys?
majority of our programs start in the autumn. So that
Yeah.
would be kind of the fourth week of September, in and around those. Some start on time, and one or two might start a little bit later, but predominantly those areas. We do have some programs, and particularly for students studying PhD programs, that can start on more of a rolling basis. They can start sort of at 4 points throughout the year. And we have a nursing program with a January intake, or we did have. But just bear in mind that most of the courses will start in sort of end of September, beginning of October.
Excellent. Thank you for your time, I really appreciate that. For anyone watching, any questions around it, there's been questions around courses, around funding, scholarship. So if anyone's got any questions, like Dai said, the international website is kind of a one-stop shop for everything. If there's anything you need to know, please head over towards Cardiff website, international page, I believe it is. There will be a link sent to you, so everybody that's registered for this session, everyone that has watched or wants to find out more information, we will send you more info. Just a reminder as well, the bursaries that Postgrad Solutions are offering, there's 5 £2,000 bursaries. Anyone from around the world, any international student looking to come to study in the UK or any other country around the world can apply. Head over to postgrad.com or the link that will follow in the email. But for now, a huge thank you to Dai, Petra in the background, the 2 students that have joined us as well. Really appreciate your time today, and we look forward to seeing you again in the not too soon future. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Gareth. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.